All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome. So excited. We have, and I'm not sure if you can see my screen, I'm admitting people. Um, so if you see that on my screen, just ignore it. But my name is Sarah Frame. I am the executive director of the MassTLC Education Foundation. And I am so excited to be here to welcome you all today. I know we have some people that have been a part of Technovation Girls before, but I think we have a lot of new people as well. So welcome. I want to just take a very quick moment to thank our sponsors. They really support us in enabling the MassTLC Ed Foundation to be the Massachusetts ambassadors for Technovation Girls and to partner with Rhode Island and put on all of the programming that we put on. So thank you to Great Hill Partners, to Raytheon Technologies, Rocket, and Acquia. So today, we have a fantastic group of people that are going to be presenting, and we're going to spend a lot of time answering questions. As promised, this is not just our kickoff, but an Ask Me Anything. So you'll hear from everybody. Today's agenda, we're going to do some introductions. Each one of ours are going to introduce ourselves as they're going to be presenting. I'm going to ask each of you who are here attending if you can use the chat function and just let us know if you're a student, a teacher, a parent, somebody from industry, and if you're any of those teacher, student, or parent, the school, the town or school that you're from, and then if you're industry, what company you're from, so that we can all get to know each other and be able to have a much more robust conversation. We're going to go through what Technovation Girls is, important milestones and dates. We have a lot that has stayed the same even in this virtual world that we're living in, but we do have some things that have changed. And I would like to just say, I think those things that have changed are actually for the better, some of them. And I think they're things that I'd like to have us adopt going forward. We'll get to that. Tips, tricks, and getting the most out of yourselves, your team, your mentors, your industry mentors. We have some references that we'll make available and I'll send out, and then we'll get into the Q&A. So for those that haven't participated before, Technovation Girls is an amazing global challenge that uses technology, but really is rooted in entrepreneurship. You create teams of roughly 3 to 5. You identify a problem that's in your community. It could be your town, your school, your region. And then you create a company that is centered around a mobile app to solve that problem. There are so many skills that are amazing that you build along the way: collaboration, problem solving, negotiation, working with others, being able to clearly communicate, leadership skills, and technology skills. These green dots and orange dots represent all of the areas in the entire globe that participate in Technovation Girls. That is over 23,000 girls, over 100 countries. Massachusetts alone has seen over 800 girls, and close to 60 cities and towns have participated. Okay. Technovation rules the same, and what's changed. So in the dark gray, you'll see this is the same. Team members, these are the roles. Girls, teams of girls, usually between 3 to 5. That doesn't mean you need to have 3 to 5. You cap out at 5. But you can do it with 2, and our other speakers will give you the pros and cons to something like that. The new is you're going to be meeting virtually, at least as far as we can tell. This goes through May. Things might change, but I wouldn't count on it. I would plan to have this be done virtually. So make sure you have the tools and that you as a team decide which platforms you're going to be using. But I would also say be flexible. You know, you could use FaceTime, you can use House Party, Facebook, Zoom, any platform that allows you to talk to each other, see each other, and collaborate. A lot of you use these at school. If you can't use your school accounts, you know, let us know. We can work with you. We can help you. Coaches and mentors are our next role that we're going to be talking about. So primarily your coaches are going to be your teachers. You know, there are plenty of teams throughout my tenure of doing this that have also had parents or other adults, but I think your teachers are usually really the key person. It doesn't have to be a computer science teacher or robotics teacher, but often it might be. They help you keep your structure, make sure that you're hitting your milestones. They work through a lot of the problems you might be encountering with the curriculum, answer questions, really just serve as somebody that can help guide you through this. We know that many of you are remote, and we know that teachers have so many responsibilities, and especially those that are living in dual worlds where they're creating curriculum online, they're creating curriculum in person. We know that time is a serious issue. So something new that we're going to do this year is we're going to have dedicated coaches to work across multiple teams, and we'll do that through Zoom, most likely. We'll probably use, like a Monday or a Tuesday afternoon, just like we're doing today. And instead of meeting one-on-one, we'll just have a few teams to one or two coaches, but we'll ensure that you have the tools and the resources you need to continue through. The other type of mentor is our industry mentors. So over the years, MassTLC has recruited from our membership base a lot of amazing people in different roles in tech companies, be it marketing, business development, in the engineering technology organizations. And this year, no different. We're going to continue to do that. We know that if you
I didn't have time to.
I'm sorry, can everybody that's not speaking mute themselves? I think I
Have to finish all of it.
trying to find. Trying to see if I can mute that person.
Yeah, Sarah, if you can mute all, it might help people that are on their phone.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that while, let's see. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, it's hard to do that when I'm showing, but anyway, I think everybody's muted. So, okay. So we're going to continue to offer that. Similarly to coaches, we'll also, on those off weeks, so we'll do every other week with coaches, we will do every other week with industry mentors as well. We will also continue to help create relationships that are one-on-one, but for those that don't have the time, that are fine without having a one-on-one and would rather utilize this every other week open office hours, it will be made available for you. And we will try to match those up with in order of the curriculum that you'll be going through. And then the last role here are judges. So for those of you that have judged in the past, you could still judge. They are still going to be looking for judges. That is not going to change. What will change is that in the past, for the regional scoring, it has been in person and judges do this in a two-step process. They judge online, and then they judge the second part in person. Because this is moved virtually, Technovation, who is the creator of Technovation Girls and also Technovation Family, if you're interested in that, we could talk to that as well later on, has implemented a rule that if you're in the region, you cannot judge those submissions from your region. So you will be judging submissions from all over the world. If you are a team and you've submitted, similarly, your submissions will be judged from people all over the world. This was started at the end of the season, this last season, the 2020 season. And I will say it's a little harder in some ways because you're being judged globally, but it's amazing. And to think that your submission and a submission from France and a submission from the Middle East and a submission from Africa are all being judged. It's just, it is awesome in the true sense of the word. So I actually find that to be a very exciting piece. I'm going to turn this over to my colleague, Ruth Morris now, who's going to talk to you a little bit about timelines and teams and what you need to know.
Thank you, Sarah. My name is Ruth Morris. I work with Sarah at the Mass Technology Leadership Council and help her with our Education Foundation. And I've been involved in Technovation for years in different roles. And it's by far my favorite thing that we do. And that's why I'm so glad to see so many people here today. This is a fantastic program. This slide, you can find this timeline on the Technovation website. And we have slides at the end with links to everything that you need. So don't worry about it. We'll get you that information. This is a very handy thing that I'm sure you'll refer to a lot because it tells you what the milestones are you should be hitting and also very important dates. So hopefully those of you who are participating have already registered. That opened in October. If you haven't, don't worry. Registration is officially open until March 12th. I would encourage you, if you know you're participating, to register sooner rather than later, just because you don't want to forget. And it's just better to kind of be in the system so that you can get communications from us, you can get communications from Technovation. The official kickoff is January 11th, but this year, again, because it's an odd year, Technovation did something different and they opened the curriculum. They just left it open all year long. So if you already have a team or you just want to get in and play around and see what the curriculum is all about, you can do that. And so I would use this time between now and January to make sure your team is set, find a mentor, and we can help you with that. As Sarah said, we recruit industry professionals and there's a matching mechanism on the Technovation website to help you with that. And just start thinking about your project. Start thinking about what the problem is that you want to address through your app. In January, this is a time to be really sort of nailing down what the problem is that you're trying to solve and to do some market research on it. And I would emphasize that it's important to do the market research. It's a big part of this competition is sort of justifying why you're doing what you're doing because you're building a whole business around it. And this, for the senior teams, the older teams, the high school teams, you have to write a business plan, and the market research is a key part of that. But you also want to make sure that you're finding a problem that people agree is a problem and that your approach to it is something that people agree with. In February is when you start really thinking about the app itself. So you want to start doing a paper prototype. You will start coding as well, but before you do that, you want to think about the design and get that down on paper and then start the coding. March is a lot of the heavy coding work, starting the business plan. And then April is when you finish it all up. So you do your videos, you debug your app, you make sure everything is good to go. The submission deadline is April 19th. Unfortunately for Massachusetts teams, and I think Rhode Island too, It comes during our April vacation, which is a common occurrence for us. So that's a bit of a bummer, but just know that that is the submission date. And Technovation is very firm about that. They do not make exceptions to the submission date unless there's a technical issue on their end. I would encourage you, as the pieces of your project are done, if you know they're final and you're not going to go back and change them, submit them, because doing it on the last day when everybody else is doing it often does cause technical problems, and it's a lot of stress for you. So just, as things are done, get them submitted. And then you get to relax, and then the judges do their work. And so there's a first round of judging that runs usually May to June. This is where globally the finalists have decided. Then there's a round of judging for the semifinalists, and the finalists are picked. So it's usually 10 finalists. And those are announced at the World Summit along with the top winner. This year, everything is virtual, which, as Sarah said, has its pros and its cons. It's a bummer not to be able to be in person and have the judges see your apps and your poster boards. But it's also amazing to have judges from all over the world participating in this and seeing your work. So next slide, Sarah.
And I know you talked a lot of this, so if you want me to skip, just tell me to go forward.
Yeah, I'm just going to say quickly, I mean, this information is all on the Technovation website, and we're going to talk a little bit more in detail in the next slide, but these are the main things that you have to submit. So there's a pitch video and a demo video, and they are different. So the pitch video is, as it implies, it's your pitch to the judges and to the world about your business, and sort of what you're trying to solve, what your approach to is, why you're doing it. The demo is actually a demo of your app. You also have to submit the source code, and Joe Mazzone's going to talk a little bit about that in a few slides. You have to do screenshots of your app, and then for the older teams, the business plan. So next slide. And these are the links. As I said, we will get you all this information so you don't have to madly scribble down the links, but all of this is available in detail. And you can also see the judging rubric. So this is what the judges see, and it aligns to your requirements. And so this is how they will be scoring your submissions. So next. Tips, tricks, and getting the most out of everyone. We'll probably talk a lot about this in the question and answer section of this, and the people who have been coaches can really get into the details, but these are a few things we've heard over the years. I would actually see the second bullet is the most important one. You're a team of 3 to 5 people. You all have your own views, your own perspectives, different experiences. You will not agree 100% of the time, and that is okay. That is a main part of what you're learning here, is how to work in teams, how to advance things even when you don't agree. So don't get stressed out about not always agreeing, but find a way to work through problems and move things along. We talked a little bit about mentors. I would say the third bullet point as well, don't wait to get started. This is actually a lot of work, and we know this is a crazy year for you already. Start early and follow the curriculum, because it does a very nice job of breaking things into very manageable chunks. And having a schedule to keep to will help you as well. You don't want to be in the last couple of weeks doing everything. It's just too much. And don't be afraid to ask questions. You have a lot of resources. We are lucky where we live as well. We have so many resources in the tech industry who are willing to help. You've got teachers, coaches, mentors. You can ask Sarah and me. If we don't know the answer, we will find the answer out for you. And then finally, have fun. I mean, this is a lot of work, but it is amazing what the teams develop that we've seen in the past. It just blows our minds every year. And so it should be a fun experience, and hopefully it will be. So that's that one, Sarah.
Okay, so now we are turning it over to our coaches. I have pinned our 3 coaches that will be talking, answering questions and presenting the next 2 slides. So you should see them. And then they are going to tell me when it is time for me to stop sharing, and then we'll all be able to see each other.
Hello, everyone. This is Joe Mazzone speaking. So one of the first critical steps once you decide you're going to participate in Technovation is really making a team. So it depends if you're here as a student, as a teacher, or as some other industry mentor, kind of how you're going to do that. But if you're a student, obviously the first place you could look is ask some of your friends. If you're enrolled in a computer science course or a tech course or even just a science course, maybe you can ask some of your classmates if they'd be interested in making their own app as part of this competition. Teachers, obviously first you're going to recruit in your classroom. But you may want to expand outside of that. So maybe some of your colleagues that are also in math and science courses, you may want to ask them to reach out to some of their students, or see if they can identify some students that you can target more specifically and reach out to them and see and gauge their interest. For industry people, if you don't already have individuals in mind that you're going to work with, what's great about the Technovation system is once you register, you can make yourself public. And when you make yourself publicly available, individuals that are near you can see that you are mentor available in their area, and they can reach out to you and say and ask if you'd like to mentor. And then Sarah and Ruth are also really great at helping you find a team to work with. So they're also a resource for that.
Joe, could I just jump in? This is David Petty from Brookline High School.
Absolutely.
I'm going to reiterate what you were just saying and what Sarah said, or Sarah and Ruth said before, which is that you can have teams of up to 5, and I would recommend having bigger teams on the larger side rather than the smaller side, because ordinarily there are lots of different things to do and perhaps different roles that people are interested in. Some people might be interested in working on the app, others are more interested in business, others might want to do market research. So as a way of dividing up the work, having a team of 5 is to me preferable to, say, having a team of 2, which is really, I think, quite a challenge.
I absolutely agree. And certainly my teams that have had more students working together and collaborating have been more successful because they've been able to do that. And the students working on this like to take on a role. And, in the business plan, there's a section for them to kind of identify their role. And so that's a good thing that they have ownership over something. It makes the team, instead of the team trying to share responsibility of every single thing, if they can say, all right, I'm the lead person on the business plan and doing the market research, I'm going to be the lead programmer, et cetera, then they can, they kind of have their tasks, and it's easier to accomplish this project. Now, for the finding a coach and finding these mentors, as I'd mentioned, the Technovation system does a really good job with this. You can, if you are a student on this call right now and you're interested in doing this and you'd like to have a mentor work with you, but you don't know somebody, you don't have a teacher that you think's going to participate in this, and you don't know somebody, maybe in industry, that can help you out, you can log into the Technovation system once you register as a student, and you can search for people in your area, industry people that have made themselves available to you. And so you can request for them to be your mentor right on the system. They'll get a notification and they can message you back to say if that they're interested in working with you or not, your team. For anybody that's parents on, also, in order for people to sign up as mentors and to be on this Technovation system, they have to go through the background check and other important things to make sure that they're a safe mentor for the students. And then, of course, you can always reach out to the MassTLC, Sarah and Ruth, if you're still not having luck, and they will personally help you to find a coach or a mentor. Teachers, a question that's often asked is, do I need to have an industry mentor? And you don't. If you're a teacher and you're doing this with your students, you don't have to. But certainly, I think a number of us that are in the room that have participated in this, it's nice to have somebody from the industry also. Even, for me specifically, for a lot of the business aspects, they're a tremendous help. And I think others, like David may want to speak to this also, have found success when you've had maybe a couple different mentors that aren't helping every week with, have the girls with the submissions, but instead can come in at key moments and aid in kind of teaching them to do something. like maybe work on the business plan or thinking about your, performing your pitch video or some other things.
I'm going to defer to Padmaja on that for a second because she's had a lot of success with that. But Padmaja, just before that, I just wanted to say about the teams. There is a middle school and high school teams, or the senior and junior division, they call it. And the three of us are high school teachers, and we've always done it with high school teams. I'm going to encourage everyone to do the business plan part, which is for the senior teams. And I've had plenty of middle school and, even as down to 6th grade teams do quite well on the business plan. And that, to me, that's one of the really important aspects of Technovation, and where you can really kind of, hone your skills in entrepreneurship. And it is optional for the junior teams if you're below a certain age, if you're a middle school age. But anyway, I was just going to say that if you have a team of 5, whether it's 6th grade all the way up to 12th grade, I would encourage you to do the whole thing, including the business plan. Padmaja?
Hi, I'm Padmaja Bandaro. I'm a computer science teacher at AMSA Charter School in Marlborough, Massachusetts. I have done this for the last 10 years, I think. One of the successes that David is referring to is, I call it a success because I understand the valuable time of the mentors too. Having them every week and them having them come into 10 weeks proved costly and expensive to us, because we ran the club from a suburban area in Marlborough. For most of the people who worked in the city, for them to be able to come over every week was quite a big, huge task. So what we thought, we planned, is that I picked a week, and I created a schedule for each mentor to visit. So I invited people who specialized in product development, marketing development, and writing a business plan and creating a pitch and all of these things. So out of the 10 or 12 weeks that I had 5 weeks where I invited the mentors, and each of them were specialists in their field. So one person, and having one coming once in all those 12 weeks was very, very helpful for us because it was targeted. So what they did was I asked the students to be ready with their product development, and the person who is specialized in product development came in, talked to the girls. She looked at the plans for them and then suggested edits for that. And she was in contact with them at the week after just to review it and, oh, this looks good kind of thing. So with the limited amount of the availability of people and different coaches, that proved very, very helpful for us. And in the end, one person I requested them to come over and for a personal presentation, and some people were judges. We replicated kind of the similar event of Technovation in person, but I don't think that can happen this year. I understand that, but there is value in getting constant feedback about things like that. And again, in all of this, planning and having a specific timetable and sticking to it, creating the schedule and sticking to it, which is a later part of it, but it closely ties in with that. It also sets the deadlines for the girls and let them be on task of things oh, I should be ready so that I can get feedback on that. I defer back to Joe.
I was going to say, David, if you wanted to talk about the schedule, I know it's a bullet after these next ones, but it just is a smoother transition.
Okay. Yes, and I'm going to reiterate what the regional ambassador said, which was to start early. The kickoff is in January, but we already promote the thing in our school somewhere between Thanksgiving and the winter break. And then we try to start to recruit teams so that we have teams ready to go in early January, or at least the word out there. And when I say ready to go, we don't necessarily have the teams formed, but we do have, we've recruited from the student pool. The curriculum, as I'm not sure, I don't think I can, I'm not going to try to share here. There is a link to it. But there is a 12-week curriculum in which goes through the steps of ideation, thinking of an idea, doing some market research, trying to do some design thinking around thinking of a prototype and getting, an early version of it, and then thinking about, monetizing, or what is the business model, and then working eventually towards a whole business plan and pitch. I would encourage everyone to, have that in mind and sort of lay out milestones that coincide with what the 12-week curriculum does. If you look at the 12 weeks, it really is, that's all there is between January, the last week of January and the sort of third week of April. And by the way, the 19th is a Monday this year, so the Monday of April vacation. So I always encourage my students to be ready and done and submitted by that Friday before February vacation week, because I have had many weeks where I'm sitting there on, remotely typing, sending Zoom messages to my students saying, did you submit? Did you submit? Did you submit? So having it done before vacation is a really good idea. I think I just want to make one summary that I tell the students every year about it. It has to do with the amount of work and the schedule and all of that. What I have heard from students who've done this program, and I have some this year in Brookline that are doing it for the third year in a row. And I know that Padmaja, you've had them for many years, all 4 years in high school. Technovation Challenge is a lot of work, but it's totally worth it. It's those two things together. You really have to commit to it. But on the other hand, those people who have done it and followed it through, it's been a huge experience and an unusual experience for a high school student to get this much exposure to thinking of problem solving and being able to do, a Shark Tank style business presentation and doing a pitch and, defending your ideas. So I just wanted to say that it's a lot of work, but it's totally worth it.
So next, what we can talk about and can be a point of nervousness when starting this, if this is new to you, is the technology. How are the students going to build the app? What kind of devices do you need? So first, thinking about the devices that the students are actually going to program on, and then devices they may test their app on. So what is available supported through the curriculum and could be a possible submission. You can pretty much, for the majority of devices that are out there, you can use probably what's available. Even on a device like a Chromebook, you can use one of the two platforms that are supported by the curriculum, and that would be MIT App Inventor or Thunkable. Both are available just in a Chrome web browser, so even a Chromebook can access those two tools to build an app. But the other two options are using Swift and Xcode to make an iOS app, or Java and Android Studio to make an Android app. And those would require, Swift and Xcode specifically would require a Mac computer, and then Java and Android Studio would require something like a Mac, a desktop computer, a Mac or a Windows computer or Linux machine. So that's to keep in mind for devices. And then testing wise, majority of people have an Android or iOS device, and you can use for MIT App Inventor or Thunkable, those are possibilities. Previously, MIT App Inventor was just Android, but I'd like to maybe have Karen speak to, I would believe that if you choose MIT App Inventor, we would be able to get you the ability to use the iOS testing companion with that. If Karen's still here.
Yep, I'm here. Yes, so we're in beta and are diligently submitting the app to the App Store, hoping that they'll approve it. But in the meantime, yeah, if anyone wants to use iOS and can send us your email address, we can put you on our beta testing so you can have access to it.
So if you'd like to use MIT App Inventor and you are an iOS user, you have an iPhone, iPad that you want to test the app on, Sarah and Ruth can get you in touch with Karen, and you can download the companion to test your app on your iPhone, iPad using MIT App Inventor. Thunkable is the other option. So App Inventor is, as you can see, we have a couple MIT App Inventor team people here on the call. They're right here in Massachusetts, so it's very easy for us to work with them, and they've supported us tremendously throughout the years. But Thunkable is another option. The curriculum walks you through creating apps and teaching you how to program in MIT App Inventor and in Thunkable. Thunkable does have iOS and Android support. You can download their testing app on either one. And they actually also have a web preview where you can, without having a physical device, you can just click live test and see a preview of the app and use it right in the web page. So if you are somebody that maybe only has a Chromebook and wouldn't be able to access actual iOS or Android devices, maybe let's say you're a middle school teacher and you're going to be doing it with your students and they won't maybe have smartphones available, you may want to consider Thunkable. You can get MIT App Inventor to also work on the Chromebooks. By a lot of the modern Chromebooks can install Android apps right on them. That'd be something you'd maybe have to work with your IT department on. You can also follow up with me. I think the App Inventor team could probably help you with that also. I believe they have a support page on that specifically on their website. But if that's something where you want to use MIT App Inventor, you only have Chromebooks available, again, reach out and we'll be able to help you kind of with those technical details. If any of this, let's say you're a student or a teacher, is completely foreign to you and you're saying, oh my God, what the heck are they talking about at all? You're definitely going to want to just look at MIT App Inventor or Thunkable. App Inventor has tremendous amounts of resources if you go on YouTube, if you go on App Inventor's website. So that would be my #1 pick for you. And then Thunkable would be #2, as they're going to be the easiest for you to get a handle of. And like I said, the curriculum supports it. The Xcode and Swift and Java Android Studio options are really for students and teachers that maybe have more experience. This is maybe a student that has experience with those programming in Swift or programming in Java and would like to continue to use those skills. I wouldn't recommend it as I've never done any programming before or I have very little programming experience. I wouldn't say jump into Swift or jump into Java. I would recommend using other ones because the project's not just about creating the app. Remember, the project's creating this business around your app and the app's just a piece of it. So you're creating a business around this technology that's going to solve a problem. So again, mainly if you have any questions at all about the technology, reach out and we can always help you at any point in time. Same thing with the mentors. Sometimes your industry mentor may not know exactly how to use some of these tools, so reach out. And throughout the season, we're going to send out, so pay attention to your inboxes. We'll send out some information about sessions that we're going to host to get you started using App Inventor, get you started using Thunkable, some of those things.
Joe, can I jump in and say, we also have past webinars where we taught the App Inventor, so both the basic and the advanced on our website. So if people want to take a peek beforehand, they can do that as well. And all that information's at the end of this presentation.
So I was hoping we could leave some time for questions for people. But if you wouldn't mind, there are 5 more slides. I think 5 or 4 more slides on here. I was hoping they're all resources, right? And so we're going to share the slideshow, and then you'll be able to look at and click on all these links. But do you think we could just go through them and yeah, so getting started and thinking up an idea is a really important thing. And these are they're in addition to the ideation curriculum that's on the App Inventor that's on the Technovation website. And so there's a bunch of different approaches to doing brainstorming, mind mapping, and ideation. Next. This is these are the curriculum links, and there's a folder from previous workshops and things that you can get on there, but there's the 12-week curriculum right there. And as Ruth said, it's open, you can go to it. MIT App Inventor, as Joe just said, has a ton of great tutorials, and it's, running through those, you can make an app in 15 minutes, and you can make a pretty sophisticated app in not that much longer. So running through the early tutorials is a really good idea. Business planning, there are a bunch of different approaches to business planning, and there is also a template business plan through the App Inventor curriculum that you can sort of think of what the sections are to fill in. But these are some of the people that have given webinars and or in-person seminars to the Technovation groups in the past. And these are the resources for those. And finally, I just wanted to say that I know probably many of you have seen Shark Tank, and I think of Technovation as kind of like Shark Tank, except with nice people. And the pitching part of it is really important. It's really important for the girls because it is something that many of my former students have told me. It really gives them confidence to be able to stand. You know, it's not something that we're all built, you know, to naturally stand in front of people and make a pitch, but it is something that's really valuable. And I encourage that as one of the key components of the Technovation Challenge. Questions?
I'm going to jump into chat here and see if there's any. These may all just be.
Hi, I have a question.
Oh, great.
So if we're bringing a team, do we have to, sorry, of course my phone would start ringing right now. Do we need to sign up as a mentor, or does the program provide mentors? Like what would my role be, I guess, as a teacher pulling together the kids and offering this opportunity?
There used to be a coach versus, oh, sorry, Joe, were you gonna, go ahead.
That's okay. I was just going to say, I would suggest you sign up as a mentor, even if you don't feel comfortable maybe fully leading the girls through all the curriculum, because then you can access all the resources and you can see everything going on with the team. Then once you're in the system and you have your team, you can use the system, or you can use Sarah and Ruth to help find an industry mentor that can help guide the work a little bit better than maybe you feel comfortable with. Go ahead, David.
I was going to say, one more thing is just to reiterate a little bit of a change. And I think David's going to talk about the dynamic, the differences between coaching and mentors. But I want to reiterate one of the new things that we're implementing this year is that we're also going to, we can help find and assign one-on-ones, but we're also going to be providing a lot of support virtually, where we'll have both coaches and industry mentors available, and we'll do some virtual programming such as this that will get into the specific areas of the curriculum. We'll try to time it, thinking of how you'll go through it, or we'll keep it open to sort of ask me anything. So sorry, David, go ahead with those definitions.
Okay, so I was going to say that on mytechnovation.org, I think it is where you sign up. And in the past, they had a big distinction between mentors and teachers, coaches, and there really isn't that distinction anymore, at least last year, although they do change the site every year. But now, whether you're a teacher, coach of the team, or you're a mentor who wants to support that team, you basically, you sign up as either an adult or a student, and there isn't really a distinction. And as Joe said, you have, once you're signed up and sort of background checked and everything, then you have access to all the materials.
So I just want to go through, unless there's any more on that. We have a lot of questions in chat, so I'm just going to read them really. This next one I can moderate. Or if you have questions and you didn't write them in chat, unmute, go ahead, ask. So how many hours a week can I, as a teacher, expect to spend on this?
I can address that. Originally, when we started everything, if we do not expect the girls to do anything on their own on their own personally, so I used to have the girls meet every Thursday for 2.5 hours to 3 hours. It depended, and so we dedicated one weekday for it, and we stuck with them. And then, there was the industry presenter mentor who came and talk to the girls and everything. And then there was an 1.5 hour work after that. They followed up with it, making the corrections and everything. So that kind of structure helped the girls to not worry about it until the next Thursday or the day before of the Thursday, just to make sure what we need to plan. But given the current situation and being on Zoom and virtual Zoom, I'm not sure that 3 hours would be a good amount, but so probably an hour and a half on the Zoom call, and then have them do something after throughout the week, I guess, on the work on their own. I would see what David and Joe would want to say about that, but that's what I did.
Yeah, I think originally the Technovation team had a partial curriculum development, going through the curriculum kind of, a direct instruction type teacher-led session, and then a work session. And what I found is and they wanted each of those to be 3 hours. And so it was supposed to be 6 hours a week. That just is never going to work for any teacher. I mean, I never did that from day one, 10 years ago. But I feel as though, to me, it was like 2 hours a week. I set aside a regular time. And so we have 1 hour of going through, catching up, dealing, interacting with our mentor, if that happens to be a mentor day. And then another hour of work where because I've had 5 teams the last 3 years, I think. And so it's hard to get, to each team. Now, if you only have one team, maybe you don't need the full hour to work with them, but I have to, I have to go around and make sure that all of them are up to speed. So it seems to me like having a period, like an hour-ish, that's part of that's for the curriculum, and then following on that, a work period where you can kind of check in with the teams and see where they are. That follows that. And for me, I've done that once a week for 2 hours. I have to say that it's a good thing to plan that as you approach April, right, where you really get push comes to shove in terms of the business planning and getting everything done. What a lot of the teams do is they'll pick a time, say a weekend time, where they're going to meet in the library, or since it's been virtual, they're going to meet online. That they do schedule some extra time that just the teams meet to finish, to continue their work, and the teachers and mentors aren't involved.
And again, just to reiterate, for those teachers that they just can't do it, let us know. We are going to work really hard to try and help support you, because we don't want these girls to not be able to do it.